Thank you so much, Dennis, for joining me for this amazing chat about healing, transformation, sacred alchemy, and strengthening your intuition. Listen to it through to the end for insights in how to deepen all of those things. Enjoy.
Everything we need is literally within us, and all we have to do is close our eyes and feel it.
Welcome to Love Magic Miracles. I'm Alina GG. And if you're a soul-led entrepreneur who wants to make a big impact in the world, you're in the right place. And if you'd love to weave feminine embodiment into your everyday and quantum leap every area of your business and love life to new heights, then plug into these conversations with these inspiring thought leaders and hit subscribe, comment, like, and share with someone you care about today. Hi, it's Alina GG from Love Magic Miracles, and I have an exciting announcement. Doors are officially open to the Safe to Be Seen Accelerator program. Now, this 12-week container is for you if you're sick of playing small, you're done hiding, you're ready to embody your messaging and your business, and you really want to show up at that next level and feel good about it. For years, I felt like it actually wasn't safe to be seen, and if I'm honest, it was because it was subconscious. It wasn't really conscious. I couldn't really tell you why I felt unsafe to be seen. It wasn't like everyone really was going to judge me or tell me I wasn't good enough, but it was actually more my inner critic telling me, right? That voice inside my head. And I don't know if we can really silence that inner critic. I don't know if anyone can ever really do that, but we can turn that volume down. And I'm here to hold space for others to do that, right? To really connect deeper in to those visibility blocks and start to turn the volume down on your inner critic and then turn the volume up on your self-expression and who you are and your purpose and your messaging and your aliveness and your brilliance, and get it out in the world. So if this excites you, head on over to lovemagicmiracles.com, check out the Safe to Be Seen Accelerator program and the testimonials, and join now. Hello, it's Alina GG, and I am back with Dennis Gray for part 2. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Day 40 of a fast. Only water, nothing else?
Great. Tea,
What type?
kombucha for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tea, all types. Just all loose leaf blends. Intuitively, just whatever sort of I looked at and looked back at me. That's what I would have for that day. Um, but yeah, salt, lots of salt water, shilajit and dragon ormus.
What was that last one before that?
Shilajit.
What's that?
Shilajit. It's like this resin full of minerals from the Himalayas.
Okay.
So out of all the supplements I've taken, the main ones that I rate would be at the top would be definitely Ormus. That got my mind absolutely solid and always has. I've known that for a long time. And Shilajit feels like it's more helps my body for the new.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what I took for the entire time.
Wow. Wow. So we're here to discuss your insights and happenings and what's been happening, what's blown your way, what is, please share
All
your
right.
experience.
All right. If you haven't already seen the first episode, go watch it. Do yourself a favor. So you know where we're at. But I'll start off with the why, and
Great.
then we'll just go from there. So for starters, I do have a history in fasting, first of all, personal experience, at least 12 years, from intermittent to prolonged fasting, 7 to up to 21 days of water fasting. This time was the longest I've fasted, and although it's day 40, and this is a bit of a milestone for myself, I'm not sure if I have finished. Obviously, along with this fast has come a whole new mindset and a way of thinking and being, and a whole
Mm-hmm.
new relationship to my inner and outer world. That's what's slowly been shifting as I've
Mm.
progressed in this fast. So originally the fast started off as a fast to gain my sense of smell back.
That's
Since
right.
I've been in Melbourne, multiple factors, but ultimately for the entire duration of my time in Melbourne, 15 years, I haven't had access to my sense of smell or taste. So 2 years ago during COVID. I did a
Hmm.
21-day fast and I achieved my smell and taste back. I got COVID. So for the last 2 years, I've had no sense of smell and taste, which for me wasn't really a big thing. But I'm about to embark on a mission, another mission, to change the world in regards to how we drink socially using herbal elixirs, which
Hmm.
I've been working on. So for that, I really need my smell and taste to create beautiful, beautiful concoctions.
Hmm.
So that was my primary thing to get my smell and taste back before I move forward. So what started off, my body actually told me 13 days, 13 days. And I was like, all right, I can do 13 days. 13 days rolls around and I still don't have my smell. Day 16, my smell came back and I was
Hmm.
just blown away for one. And then on day 21, when I thought it was all over, I went and got a colonic just to be,
Hmm.
super. Why not? You're fasting for 21 days.
Yeah, be extra clean.
Extra clean, get it, tick all the boxes, and then bang, it left again. And my body just told me to keep going.
Okay.
And And this is when things got wild. So I started off as this fast to get my smell back. But during the fast, I started diving so deep into, because it's always been the fascination for me about our potential, which is unlimited. But, there's only to certain extents that people on this earth that we physically know of or have heard in history have gotten to.
Hmm.
So knowing all this, my mind, I obviously had a lot of time on my hands. Um, I just started becoming obsessed with what people had done previous to me and what I felt I could do. And it sent me on this giant rabbit hole, even deeper to what I already knew in regards to the process of the sacred secretion, which is harnessing sexual energy and utilizing a sacred oil or seed, which drops into our body every month, depending on your zodiac sign. And you're able to utilize this seed, and if you do it correctly, it will regenerate every cell in your body. And done over and over again, this is meant to put you on a path of physical immortality to an extent. Ultimately, it gives you the conscious awareness on what we're capable of. And everything you do on this purification journey just starts dissolving your programming, everything. So I'm currently doing that, and I got obsessed with that, and I thought, like, why not continue? I
Hmm.
mean, Yeshua did it for 40 days, just sort out really cleared me to fast for 40 days. So I continued doing it. And as I got deeper and deeper, more and more things started to show themselves. Um, Day 21, right? I'm asleep, and I've heard about people levitating and flying, and back in the the Siddha yogis, they would
Hmm.
do this yoga to achieve superhuman feats. They were able to teleport, fly, levitate, shrink themselves to the size of a cell, and etc., etc. So I'm sleeping. I wake up on day 21, and in my dream, I'm learning the whole process. So I'm closing my eyes and I'm learning how to connect with my third eye and my heart, because these two are the controllers in this mechanics, this energetic mechanics on how to levitate. And I start levitating. And then I start going through the whole process of teaching myself how to float and float upright, then move, then jump. And I start figuring out this whole process and feeling it and living it and actually doing it. And while I was in my dream, I was able to also be consciously aware in my bed. So I was able to come back, push record on my phone, on my voice recording, and relay what I was learning and teach myself in this reality. So I have eight, like 10-minute detailed voicemails that I was teaching myself, but I was speaking in my dreams. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd
So
love to hear them.
I was able to come back, push record, and still be in my dreams and be there feeling it and explaining to myself because it's the feeling. The feeling was the biggest thing. Understanding the mechanics is one thing,
Hmm.
but breaking down the process on how to do it.
Hmm.
And when I woke up and sort of like came fully back into this reality, you call it, I just had to sit there. I thought that there was nothing on my phone, and there was. And I listened to the first and the last one, and I was just sitting there like just absolutely shocked. And obviously, I got up, I journaled it, I started writing diagrams, but it literally took me 3 days to listen to them because it was so surreal. And
Wow.
sitting with that feeling and that understanding and clearly being in both spaces or realms at the same time, consciously, and being able to like sit clearly in between them, it was really for me, it was just it blew my mind. Like it
Mm.
was even listening to the messages, I was just sitting there going, wow. Like this sort of stuff is potentially possible when you see it in movies, but to actually do it and for it actually to happen and to feel it to the core and being super hypersensitive as well, it just it was wild.
Mm.
It was wild. It almost kind of scared me a little bit.
Wow.
But yeah, and that was 21. And from there on out, I was, you know, obviously in uncharted territories. Like I'd
Hmm.
never been over 21 days. So things started to set in. Like I knew up to 21 days, I was solid. I was good. But 21 days rolled around and my mind started playing tricks. My mind was like, can you do this? And there were points that my body twice almost just shut down purely because I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I
Mm.
started buying into these thoughts and I pulled myself out of them and I continued. And yeah, it's just it was massive. Oh, I can't even say it. There's a dark night of the soul, which I visited quite a lot, and that's fine. This was something else. This was a whole new beast in itself. And it was necessary to break these paradigms, just this world that I knew
Mm.
it had to be broken. You can't just kind of access it without destroying the rest.
Mm.
So that was really wild to embody, to encounter, and then even it's still integrating now. Like I haven't
Mm.
even started doing these processes yet because so much comes in every day. My
Mm.
smell is back. I mean, originally this was off my smell, my taste
Mm.
is back. Um,
Mm.
and I'm so hypersensitive to my senses and my intuition were already very, very sensitive. But I mean, yesterday I smelt green tea, right?
Mm.
When I smelt it, I could see the woman who picked it, and I knew everything, well, not everything about her, but I knew things like that she normally wore rings on her hand, and that she took them off for work, and that she was wearing brown sandals, and that while she was picking, she was with her friends, and they were laughing and they were gossiping. Like that's what I saw when I smelt and tasted the
Mm.
tea.
Mm.
And I was just sitting there just going, whoa, this is wild.
Mm.
Like, this is like the beginning to
Mm.
all my senses over this time. And my intuition has been heightened because I haven't had sense of smell and taste for so long. But with this coming to the party, sense of smell just entered the chat. It was wild, like wild. And
Wow.
even now, I'm like, I don't feel I need to eat at all. I'm not
Mm.
hungry.
Mm.
I'm still just trying to comprehend how sensitive I am to smell and taste. And it's still not even back fully.
Mm.
It wasn't until yesterday that was able to smell and taste multiple things at the same time. I'd never been able to smell more than one thing.
Okay.
So I had Palo Santo going, sage going, dragon's
Mm.
blood going. My friend had a cacao that I made for her, and I smelt that, and I was just like, the amount
Wow.
of information that is coming into me right now,
Mm.
don't think I would be able to have the capacity for it if I wasn't this clear and fasted. So
Mm.
it's an amazing journey that is obviously I feel like it's only just beginning. It's opened me up to be able to operate on such a wild level.
Mm.
Like, yeah, like I made 2 websites in the last 3 days.
Wow.
Like just really knowing. And yeah, I have been chatting for a while. Do you have any questions?
Well, yeah. So when you're coming off the fast, do you just go gradual with some broth or juice, or how would you come off a long fast?
Correct. For a long fast, usually it's recommended that you would halve the amount of time that you fasted, so 40 days, and realistically, like 20 days ideally to be doing solid foods or 10 days listening to your body. Um, I think I'm going to stick with liquids for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That sits really well with me. And eventually I feel 100% within my core, even though I'm taking it day by day and I'm listening to my body. But I do feel that my whole relationship and perspective with food has changed. I don't see myself ever eating 3 meals a day ever again. Um, I feel myself eating super intentionally. It's just a whole nother, especially when you know you can thrive without it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. Like I'm still able to go to the gym and lift wildly heavy and
Mm.
go to yoga. I mean, I'm doing Bikram yoga for an hour in 41 degrees.
Wow.
And it's all in my mind because when I first went in there, I was worried because
Mm-hmm.
it's hard enough as it is. But I punched through it and it just broke open a new layer and I'm just like, this is wild.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, day at a time, I'll go back into liquids, shift slightly into food over the next 10 days, potentially, like possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But for the next sort of like 7 days, it's definitely going to be liquids and like really healthy juices, just to restore my body. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
the main thing. I just want to build back really strong.
So with the body mind connection, do you feel that now it's even stronger than you'd ever imagined? Like as in it's even more connected, our body and our mind, than we that you ever thought possible?
Yes, the way you
Yeah.
look at the world is so different. It's so clear. And in particular, the relationship between my body, my mind, my spirit, but none of them are me, kind of thing. Like I'm able to see them for what they are, understand that they all need to work together, um, and communicate really well with them. Like my body, especially, it was 2 days ago. It just had this big chat with me, and it was
Mm-hmm.
telling me, and it was like, "You never lost your smell, you lost your taste." And I went, "Well, I never thought of it like that." And when I thought about it like that, information started coming up that made me realize where it all came from and what it stemmed from. And it was due to multiple things, but it was a definite immune system issue due to having lived with mold in my house
That's
for,
right.
yeah, for 3 years. I lived with mold in my house,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, my body really took a hit from that
Mm.
and couldn't really restore it as possible because I was just constantly overloading with food and stuff. So the fast gave it time to come back and rebalance. And yeah, honestly, I've never felt this good. I've never felt this strong or clear. And for me, that's even really interesting considering I haven't had food for 40 days.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Hmm.
Yep. So what I was referring to before is like when you said your body almost shut down, but it was because your mind said, I can't do this or whatever. It came in and it's like but then it's a mindset. So mindset is important. It's so important. What we believe to be true, what we believe about ourselves is like paramount then.
It is the only way. It is 100% the biggest factor of this whole thing.
Mind over
If
matter.
Yeah, like you literally have to know you can do something or even believe you can do something. The reason, I mean, there's a belief and there's a knowing. And before you know
Mm,
something, like you've got to like I feel you've got to experience it. And I believed I can do it and I wanted to prove it to myself. But yeah, there were times of doubt massively. And it definitely
mm,
wasn't for every let's call it up or every elevation in consciousness or awareness,
mm-hmm.
there was an equal dark moment, if you will.
Mm.
so much came up. So much was released in regards to beliefs, in regards to my body, in regards to myself,
Mm-hmm.
doubting everything. It all came up and reared its like face.
Yeah.
And
Can you
it
share one?
was just anything, down to like, can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I might have like, because you're so sensitive, and I might like, let's say I'm on social media and I'll read something and it'll be like, someone dies from this or this, and I'm like, and it's something I'm doing, I'm like, it'll come in and plant a seed, and I'm like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
which means I had to be really clear on what I allowed into my field energetically,
Mm. Yeah.
because that was huge. Like my sensitivity to
Mm.
energetically is huge.
Mm.
As I progressed through the journey, the my protocols for energetic hygiene or
Mm.
spiritual hygiene, whatever you call it,
Mm.
really had to be on lock. Like I had
Mm.
to be calling back my energy. I had to be protecting myself,
Mm.
especially with the sacred secretion. That's something that really kind of freaked me out.
So is that when you say that, is that the sacred secretion, is that an exercise in your mind? Is it a visualization? Is it a meditation? How?
Um, So the sacred secretion is actually a natural process that happens in the body, right? This is going to happen whether you do anything or not. But the seed is killed. Like the seed dies if you poison it. Alcohol, gluttony, um, just being a shit person, to be honest. Like
Mm-hmm.
pretty much all the things in the Bible, be kind, all
Mm-hmm.
that sort of stuff. That's what the Bible was. It is an instruction manual on like how to activate this seed.
Mm-hmm.
And you harness it by, eating alkaline, not
Mm-hmm.
being poisonous, being a good person. And the seed will naturally replenish itself. But you also, it's sexual energy as well. So it's
Mm-hmm.
about recycling your sexual energy, if you were to have a partner or for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, not spilling the seed, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and doing certain practices to do that. It's something that like it's through the Bible, like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and all that sort of all the alchemists did it.
Mm-hmm.
But in saying that, that particular process and this process of doing that has, without that, my mind would not have been able to do 40 days. 100% no way.
Mm-hmm.
Like complete celibacy the whole time. There's no way I could do it without it. I know this.
Mm-hmm.
But my mind has been so strong, and even then there was still like little peaks of doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
it
it's
was.
redirecting your mind and your energy upwards.
Yeah, it's a clear understanding of the process that happens internally.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the alchemist journey, and understanding what's necessary to keep that frequency where it is, if not even imprint it with higher frequencies, and to nurture it and nourish it. And to be able to do this consistently, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not something you do for a month and you're like, well, you do feel benefits.
Mm-hmm.
First 3 months really quick. But as you start doing this process of the sacred secretion or the great cell regeneration, you'll notice that you just don't want to eat meat. You just don't want to drink. You just, everything that's not truly natural to our like divine self just starts melting away.
Mm-hmm.
And you're left in this state of like really valuing your sexuality in regards to like sharing your energy and who you want to share it with and how sacred it is.
Mm-hmm.
So both processes of the 40-day fast and the sacred secretion, I'm at 175 days, so it's been the whole year that I've dedicated to doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a guided journey that I had a conversation with myself in Egypt, actually,
Mm-hmm.
last year, and made the decision on the solstice of last year to commit to this for myself. And then yeah, the fast just naturally came in. It wasn't anything I planned. Um, but yeah, when I think about it, and I have thought about it a lot, and I've saved so many recipes, I cannot tell you. But I figured based on where I'm at, I've had over 1.8 million meals. Like that's wild to think that, and to think that you haven't given your body a rest. Like that's just wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
1.8 million meals, that's insane. Imagine how much energy you expend doing that that could have been used to revitalize your cells. And when
Mm-hmm.
you think about it like that, it doesn't seem so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like 40 days of no food for a reset. Regardless, I do feel that every year I will do a 40-day fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's a great practice. And now that I've done it, to be honest, I've been looking into breatharianism.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very interesting for me to see that women have gone through full-term pregnancies without eating for 3 years plus. So
Really?
absolutely, absolutely. And that's interesting because I thought they had that it was different for females due to like hormones and stuff like that. But no,
Oh.
the couple both didn't eat for 3 years, full-term pregnancy, baby is super healthy, got tested all the way. And I mean, even for me, people doing that helps me really check in with myself and be like, yeah, you're all good.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah,
Mm. Well, I guess we get energy from prana, from, prana, life force, the air, yeah, not just food, right? Energy we get from different places. Yeah.
absolutely. When you go down this pathway and you start doing it, you realize that everyone else that's been doing this or done it before you
Mm.
gets energy from ether.
Mm.
You
Mm.
get it from knowing, and you realize that ultimately we are superconductors, which can store unlimited energy. Because we are connected to a superconductor. You can call it the all or God or whatever you like, but there is an all-encompassing consciousness and an unlimited amount of energy that we are part of and we are tethered to and we are able to access with the right awareness. The door is always open. It's just whether our perspective is there to see it. So that's something huge I noticed. And that's kind
Yeah.
of like what all these processes, the sacred secretion, making monatomic gold myself, they all join up to this one idea of being connected to source through love
Mm-hmm.
and producing this unlimited energy within our body. I mean, I found out some really interesting things that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially learning about hydration. Did you know that our body does not absorb H2O?
No.
It's something you learn when you're wondering why you're fasting and you're always thirsty. So our body actually converts H2O into something called H3O2. Um, I don't know when, but it was only known that water would come in three forms: a liquid, solid, or a gas. There's actually a fourth phase, which they're only just rediscovering, I'll call it. It's plasma. So your body converts H2O into 3HO2, which is reconstructed water. It's
Mm-hmm.
plasma. And this actually is like a self-propulsion unit in our body, which which is our blood. So it's come to my attention that it's our blood that runs our body, not our, so the heart doesn't pump the blood around your body. It's the other way around. It's the
Mm-hmm.
blood pumps your heart, and your heart's actually this like vortex that runs on seven chambers that gets powered by your blood, and our blood has little pieces of golden or monatomic gold. They get activated when they go through the heart, and they open up this massive superconductor of the center that gets controlled by your third eye. It's wild.
You experience this.
This is where I experience every day with awareness.
Wow.
Like this whole journey is literally like when I'm extracting monatomic gold or almost minerals out of salts. This is how we do it. This is everything I know about the external process, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
happening within us. It's the true alchemist journey about with awareness and understanding this and understanding that we can connect to any other superconductor, which, like I said, you can call it God or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But going through the process and really feeling into it, yeah, you don't need food.
But
Like
we
we
need
just,
water. We need water though to survive, right?
I don't think so,
Mm.
because we can also create pure water, if you will, by breathing. That's where dry fasting comes in. That's probably the most elite type of fasting where you don't even like wash because you don't want to absorb the water. But that's pure clean. 1 day of dry fasting is equivalent to like 3 days of fasting. I'm
Mm,
thinking about before I eat food of doing at least 1 day of dry fasting.
mm-hmm,
Because yeah, you can produce water. It comes down to awareness. No matter where you're at, if you think you can't do it, then you can't. And like I stand by that because there was points when I said it, my body just started to completely shut down. I couldn't move. I was like, I'm so tired. I can't
okay.
move. I can't train. But then 3 days later, I'm at the gym smashing it. And yeah, so it's definitely been all in the mind.
Mm-hmm,
And yeah, it's been wild. Navigating emotions, wild.
mm-hmm,
Like super sensitive. Definitely relate eating food, comfort eating.
mm-hmm,
Um, with dealing with emotions.
mm-hmm,
During it, during this whole process, I actually had to go to the Gold Coast for a tangi, which is it's a funeral.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, being around my best friend's father who passed, and my best friend only passed away less than 2 years ago, so it's almost on his anniversary. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
Um, so he passed, and I went up to obviously pay my respects. And it was a lot for me because when my best friend passed, I was unable to really hold space how I wanted to. Obviously, I was into like spiritual stuff and energy, but I had never facilitated. So we were sitting around my friend at one point, and they were asked me to say something, and I just didn't know how to say what I did, which led me from that day. And I also didn't know how to do the haka, which is from my tribe because I never
mm-hmm,
grew up with it. So from that day 2 years ago, I actually taught myself. I learned the haka and I did
mm-hmm.
it at a world bartending competition at the end of it,
Great.
like in front of 1,000 people.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and he was there with me, like energetically, I felt him. And I did that because I wanted to pay my respects. And yeah, I actually went and got my teacher training in yoga because of that whole experience,
mm-hmm,
and which led me to facilitate for the last few years. So coming back around and his beautiful father had passed, I I was blessed and felt really grateful that I got the opportunity to stand with his brother and do the haka
yeah.
for them. So that for me was so wild and so like just having to let all the emotions just flow through me
Mm-hmm,
and not sort of think anything or do anything, just let them be.
mm-hmm,
Doing a haka is enough already, let
mm-hmm,
alone all the emotions around it. And knowing that you were kind of closing a 2 year contract, that's what I felt energetically that I felt like I couldn't do before. And I really wanted to do that to honor him. And I got to do it to honor him and his father. So that was a wild, wild journey. That was literally on it was the 30th day of the fast.
wow.
And yeah, oh, that was that was some closure, some everything. But it also pushed me to, yeah, I'm literally going to move up to the Gold Coast next year because of this whole experience and
Mm-hmm,
energetically it's somewhere where I resonate with.
yeah.
So big changes throughout this
Mm.
whole process.
Great. Well, it's good to hear so clear. You're definitely more energized than our last conversation.
Yo, I don't even know what day that was, but I could not breathe.
I
I could
know.
not smell. My body was obviously healing. I'm not going to say the word sick because
Mm,
it's not something I agree with, but my body was healing. And the day that we were due to have it, I literally was going to flag it because I felt so sick and couldn't breathe.
mm.
And I was like, no, let's get it done. I'm going to show up. That's why I thought this would be great to come back on day 40 and sort of have
Yeah.
this have this documented and
Yeah.
see the transition. I want to watch them because I lost about how much I lost weight wise. Not that it was about losing weight, but
Mm-hmm.
I've lost about 15 kilos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm still lifting heavy. It
Mm-hmm.
for me to even comprehend that in my mind, it doesn't even make sense to me, and I'm the one doing it. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
really interesting. I mean, I do want to put on a little bit more size because I've lost a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to maintain this frequency of feeling this aligned and this focused. That's the main focus for me.
Mm.
Whatever look comes with that. That was
Yeah.
actually a big thing, was
Mm.
losing so much size for
Mm-hmm.
me, besides always being cold because you have very little body fat on you,
Mm-hmm.
like always cold, was coming to terms with accepting my whole size had gone smaller. But what came out of accepting that was realizing how much bigger my energy, like how much more
Mm.
powerful I felt.
Mm.
I was thinking, like going to yoga, right? It's hot yoga, so I'm not wearing a shirt and I'm looking dead in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
at myself, knowing that like a month ago I was a lot bigger. It was super confronting, but yeah, with acceptance, I realized how powerful it is. And to be honest, I made an agreement with my body that to only let go of that which was not serving me. So it was mainly like inflammation and things that it really weren't needed.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I read this week. It's so simple, but doubt creates fear.
Oof. Amen to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what's the opposite of that? Certainty creates love.
Doubt creates fear.
Knowing creates love.
I would say the thing that really can dissolve, besides love, dissolve fear is trust.
Trust. Yeah.
Trust in not just yourself, but I mean, we operate within our conscious physical realm, and then we're also connected to a higher realm, and then super
Mm-hmm.
conscious, and so on and so forth. But just trusting that you're doing something. Well, for myself, I felt like my intentions were always pure,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, if they're pure, then I feel in my being that I'm walking with God, so I can trust that. And
Yeah.
it's quite easy to fall back. I don't really like externalizing the word God because I do believe it is part of all of us, but it really does help to just trust and know that you're in safe hands because there's times,
Mm-hmm.
especially, I mean, I'm not really around too many people. I do work with children and I work in other spaces, but it's not something that I just go, hey, I haven't eaten in 30 days because people freak out
Mm-hmm.
and they're unaware of the context in which I'm doing it, nor about my abilities in regards to energetic awareness. So all I get is, oh, you shouldn't do that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's the whole thing's been interesting. Even now, moving
Mm-hmm.
forward 40 days, I don't really want to tell people what I'm doing because this is uncharted territories for anyone. I mean, breatharian is considered that you understand energetics enough to understand you can get it from the ether through breath, through awareness, and through feeding your light body, which is kind of where I feel I'm at the moment. But I just want to find something that's sustainable and I can still enjoy and live like a very rich, fulfilled life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
lose out on anything because I'm stopping myself from doing something. If I find I increase in awareness through this process, so it makes, let's say, having one meal a week better than having 1,000 meals in a year, kind of thing. Then I would continue. But like I said, a day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm having green tea and I'm smelling fruit and I can see the lady who picked it, then that for me is pretty awesome. Like that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. It reminds me of that. Is it called psychometry where you can hold jewelry that someone's worn and feel their energy and that type of
Uh,
thing?
I didn't know that's what it was called, but I remember seeing it like growing up on like movies and stuff.
Mm.
They smell and they like know the history of it. But no,
Mm.
that's a thing. I mean, I've done it before, but this was like I can do it with sort of like if I ask myself a question about where something comes from, I've been able to regress myself, take myself back to not back to alternative points in existence where trauma has come about in other lives. So that's always been there, but with my smell, it was so different. It was like
Mm.
more intense. The smell has added another layer or another dimension to this whole
Mm.
process. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
been wild.
So what, I mean, if it got to a point where you felt like your body was starting to shut down, would you have to go and be hooked up to a drip or something? Like go to the hospital? Or what point do you know what I mean? Is there a point where you're like, I need to plug in? Or you said you almost felt like your body was going to shut down. What does that, how do you
Oh,
know when that
okay.
is? What does that mean?
That's because that my mind was going like started doubting itself. That day, whatever was happening, I was just lying on the couch. Like I would give myself at least a day to make sure that that's, if it's progressively going like that and it's not just a stunt or like a doubt that's popped up, I would have to
Mm-hmm.
know that that's my body is actually needing nourishment. But at the end of the day, I know better, and I know that no matter what happens, that your mind is it leads the way.
Okay.
And you can it can heal you or it can hurt you, and it's up to you. That's what's been
Mm-hmm.
so clear throughout this whole thing. That is, if your mind is strong, you can do anything, like
Mm-hmm.
anything. And it's only with this train of thought that I believe that we are going to evolve as a species and remember truly how powerful we are. We can levitate, we can fly, but it has to happen as a collective thing. There's going to be pioneers who do it. For example, I've started this fast and I've done this on TikTok and I've been logging it. And the amount of people that have reached out to me and started to fast and have wanted to fast and never thought it possible. And I've obviously told them to do their own research, blah, blah, blah. But just the fact that it's opened up that whole conversation that I've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if I saw someone that I knew fly, I would hands down know that we could fly.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I haven't. I've seen people on videos. I know of things, but until I see it, there's a difference between believing something, thinking something, and knowing something because you do it. And I think when we open up these new ways of thinking and doing, this is where we change the world. And I believe the kids come in, they already know.
Mm-hmm.
When I have children, I'm going to keep them open to their true
Mm-hmm.
power.
Yeah.
They need to be taught exactly what is capable, not just what people have told
Mm-hmm.
me. Because I pretty much throw it all out the window and go with my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do enjoy the idea of breaking into new levels of awareness
Mm-hmm.
and shifting. Like the amount of people that can heal just from like fasting for one day. Like I thought about it. Imagine if the whole world ate one meal a day, not only would we be healthy, like so much healthier, we'd live longer, but the whole system would just crash. It would crash. The health system, like no, like everything, it would crumble. That's probably why they don't want us to be doing things like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a lot of time to contemplate this whole eating thing, especially being where I'm at. It's even now, it's still like my whole day. There's not one time. It's about a few times it'll pop up, like if I'm on Instagram or something, and I see someone making a delicious vegan meal. I'm like, safe. But like, and that's just like that's still programming. But I noticed over the time, it's just died down to the point where I'm just like, oh, that looks amazing, awesome. Like you're eating meat. I don't even eat meat, and I just commented on some guy making this wild meat dish, and I'm like, bro, I'm 40 days fasted, and that is mean. And I love it, and I'm all for you doing that. But it's not something that I'm like, I feel like I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really interesting. Not wanting to just, yeah, go and smash a burger.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's just a new spot, especially having so much time in the day to not be thinking about planning meals and I've got certain key nutrients that I'm going to get in my body, and I'm being very mindful of that process, even more mindful than if I was eating every day.
So the supplements you mentioned at the beginning, so just those or other vitamins or supplements as well?
So this is wild. I actually did a market stall doing elixirs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, elixirs is what I take as well. So
Mm-hmm.
this whole process and prior to this was actually to get my smell back because I am bringing out a set of non-alcoholic mood enhancing elixirs that are all natural and that all give you different things. It's to hopefully revolutionize the way we socialize, drink, etc. One for energy, one for euphoria, and one for, well, sensuality.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like an aphrodisiac that you can add to drink separately or together
Mm-hmm.
or just directly in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's those things I have had if I wanted to go out,
Mm-hmm.
and you only have 5 mils per dose. In regards to elixirs, besides those, it was very minimal on what I had. Mainly the salts. I had to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that I had salt and water. I would have lemon. Um, Monatomic gold and shilajit were huge. But after I got a blood test. It was weird. It's a technology I've never seen before, but she scanned me off a photo and gave me this 8-page analysis of pretty much every sort of my lymphatic system, my like endocrine, like everything, a breakdown. And feeling into it, it was super accurate.
Wow.
And based on that, I started looking at my deficiencies, and in the last week of the fast, I started taking the vitamins that I needed, and I had a massive change. Like stuff that I never thought like K1 and K2. Never knew
Mm-hmm.
about that, but I do
Mm-hmm.
have something where I have a low white blood cell count that I've always known about. Stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, no one could have ever known. And she scanned me off a photo and gave me all this information that resonated so deeply that when I started supplementing with these, just different vitamins that I was deficient in, massive change as well. Massive. So that was another big thing to really help the process.
Wow. Hmm. So what's next?
So what's next?
Mm-hmm.
What's next? What's next? Well, besides doing all this fasting, I actually am the president of Australians Bartending Guild, where we will host a competition and take 2 competitors to the world competition with 70 other countries in Madeira in Portugal this year. What's next is to be able to bring out this product. It's called Elevate Elixirs,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to offer this in not only at home use, but in the bartending industry and hospitality. I mean, we've got Dry July around the corner, so I think it's a good time to like bring this
Mm-hmm.
out so everything's ready to go, and then be able to share it internationally with the world. I've got 70 countries lined up where I'll be able to do masterclasses with them and
Mm-hmm.
share new sustainable ways to not only bartend but to socialize.
Wow.
Something that's I feel is inevitable, the way we
Mm-hmm.
live, the way we socialize, and knowing that I've had a big history with alcohol, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this is quite aligned in what I'm doing. And to share this, because it comes from a really place close to my heart, that if I'm able to, my goal is to help 1 million people in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that looks like, whatever shape or form, but it's doing what I love. That's mindfulness and masterclasses and sharing plant spirits and elixirs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To help 1 million people in the next year. That's what I will achieve.
Mm-hmm. To help them change their relationship to alcohol specifically.
To help to give them an alternative, to give them an
Mm-hmm.
option, whether it be by them seeing what I do and to know my story, and to give them that option to try something to really reconnect with themselves as opposed to disconnecting from themselves with alcohol. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
alcohol is something that when you go out and socialize, it makes you become unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that how cool I know how good it is to go out using these elixirs to be go out and to be conscious, like
Mm-hmm.
super conscious. The connection with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and the connection with others deepens so much. And ultimately, it's what we're really, really looking for when we go out and socialize is to be connected, to
Mm-hmm.
have sort of, you know, deep, rich conversations instead
Yeah.
of what I used to do, black out. Like I would not remember things. And this is for years. I've been in the industry for 18 years. And
Mm.
so yeah, like I said, and generationally this goes through our line. I mean, I'm Māori. We're definitely not meant to have alcohol. No one is actually. It's a poison. It's a
Mm-hmm.
definite neurotoxin that disconnects you from your being.
Mm-hmm.
And but in saying that, I will say this. I'm not gonna. put it down, alcohol, because it has been one of my biggest teachers.
Mm.
As much as I say this, I would not be here right now understanding myself to the depths that I do
Mm-hmm.
without experiencing this for
Yeah.
15 plus years. I would not know the depth of my soul and the amount of wild things that I'm capable of, good and bad, without journeying with alcohol. But
Yeah.
from it, and everyone each to their own journey, and we all got to do our thing. But I would like to offer an alternative
Mm-hmm.
way of socializing, um, and also, like with all things that I do, show them myself.
Mm.
Like I'm not here to teach people to fast or do anything. I'm here to show you that I can do it and that it's possible, and that's it. That's it. You do what you do with it, what you like, and hopefully, if it just changes your perspective on what you're capable of or what your potential is, amazing. Then my work here is done. But I'm only going to teach by doing.
Yeah. The embodiment that we spoke of last time.
Mm.
And why is
It's
it important for people to know themselves?
why I feel that I truly started living when I knew who I was and why I was here. That's when I really felt like I woke up. And
Mm.
it's the first thing when I'm talking with people. I think it's, if I could say, the biggest thing that I've gained over this part of my journey over the last 8 years or so is that knowing who I am. Like,
Mm.
that's huge. Something that I can't explain it, but it comes with this essence of contentment and peace.
Yeah.
And like so much things change. You're not worried about anyone else. You're not worried about, like, you know who you are, you're good, got good
Mm.
intentions. I mean, you know what you're doing, or even have a fair idea of, if you're going to do something fun and you know it's going to help yourself and potentially help other people. It's just something about knowing yourself roots you so deep into the earth and grounds you out. It's really comforting.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I think it could be an antidote to codependency.
Oh, huge,
Mm.
huge. I mean, yeah, huge. I mean, to be honest, I've been in nothing but relationships the majority of my life. So I've taken long periods with myself, but this time I'm like just more than happy to do this whole year completely focused on, getting my health back,
Mm-hmm.
getting clean and clear about what I truly want to do with no distractions,
Mm-hmm.
and just focusing on that. I mean, whatever comes forward will come.
Mm.
That's kind of my primary objective is to just do that,
Mm.
just to keep on doing that. And to be honest, I've never felt this happy, as
Mm.
happy or content or at peace. And I'm lucky enough that I've
Mm.
got a beautiful dog by my side because
Mm.
he is not only my teacher, but he has been with me my entire journey. He has been
Mm-hmm.
there through the ups, the downs, and he is. I mean, obviously they're all parts of our soul and they come at the right time, but
Mm.
he is holding space in the position of my family, which I do talk to a lot. But I mean,
Mm.
I have in my immediate family over 30 humans.
Mm-hmm.
I have a huge family who are all in New Zealand. So
Yeah.
this little guy for me holds space for all of them, and he does it without speaking a word,
Mm.
does it purely by existing. So not only the best space holder I know, but the best teacher
Mm.
that they are. Dogs,
Mm.
they're
Yeah,
beautiful.
definitely. Well, yeah, it's funny like having these deeper conversations. I don't feel like just saying words for the sake of saying words or asking questions for the sake of it. It's like if there's something that wants to come through, it will. And yeah, I think we're here, yeah, to listen to our heart and take action accordingly. And sometimes we don't. We ignore what we need to do or we sabotage. Why do you think that is?
Why do we sabotage? Ah, I think it's definitely related to a fear of our true power. We fear what we don't know and don't understand. I think the more that we understand our true power and how unlimited we really are by embodying it and actually doing things that empower you and taking your power back, that the fear seems to diminish. I mean, this whole journey that I'm on is it's a journey of purification, not by doing things, but by not doing things. And by not doing things, by not giving my power away to whether it be alcohol, sex, food. Food is huge. All these things that I feel have some form of control over me personally, and to be able to take that power back, that's something that has to be lived. You can't explain it. It's not about that I'm not eating or I'm not having sex. It's about all the energy that you take
Mm,
back. I mean,
mm.
sex, relationships, the amount of energy to have a partner, and then obviously if you're sexually active, the amount of energy, that's a lot. Imagine if you just took that all back for a year.
Well,
But
I'm gonna disagree with that because if you're on the same page and you're on that journey together, so then it's helping each other. If you're holding each other accountable to keep going with that raising of your vibration, then it's like double power.
yeah, yes, definitely. Oh, with a partner,
Maybe you haven't experienced that.
I've definitely experienced. So I definitely agree with two people with the same intentions and the same focus, utilizing sexual energy 100%. That's it's meant for two people. That's the end result of this whole process, 1000%. But for me, I'm just doing it myself the best of my ability first, so that
Yeah,
uh,
but okay, sorry, I cut you off. So that
so that I'm able to attract someone on a similar path to amplify that.
mm,
That's why I can't. I would prefer them to be in the same like realm of awareness energetically and stuff like that because that's where I'm at. And
mm,
the more I do myself, I feel, then the better odds of us having a more healthy
mm,
dynamic once we come together. And then yes, absolutely amplifying it
yeah,
endlessly. Like that's ultimately what I feel will happen.
mm,
It's just I know that the more I do on myself now, it's
mm.
to the power of 10 later.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But do you think sometimes people, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying in general, feel that they have to be perfect before they can find love or be in a relationship? But you can actually work on yourself whilst you're with someone who is also conscious and in on that journey.
100%. I think
Mm,
relationships are the best catalyst for growth. And perfect, there's no such thing. I don't believe.
mm,
Not in this realm at the moment. I mean, there could be, I'm not trying to be perfect or anything by any means. I'm just
mm,
trying to do what I feel I need to do for
mm,
myself, and
mm.
that's it, for no one else.
Yeah,
And whatever that may attract,
yeah,
will attract. But I mean, it's a forever game if you're playing. That's a lot. That's a pointless game to me to play that. I'm just doing what I feel I need to do for myself. It's as
yeah,
simple as that.
yeah.
Yeah, being in a relationship, absolutely. Like, I'm all about it. It will be the next step in regards to energetically
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
raising your frequency or whatever you want to call it. Uh,
Mm,
for sure, for sure. But like I said, I'm been in relationships my whole life. I understand the process,
mm,
and I
mm,
feel that I'm at a point where it's best for me and this part of my journey, to
mm,
really take a step back and take a
mm,
step inwards and
mm.
really do what I need to do so that moving
Yeah.
forward, I'm not going to be in relationships. It
Mm-hmm.
more likely will be someone that I can align with and spend a long period of time with
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I'm not here to date. If I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
meet someone, it's going to be to create life with, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be to, yeah, start a family and
Mm-hmm.
create. I'm not
Yeah.
here to, yeah, that's it. Do you know what I mean? It's my,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So when we're talking about before, you're saying we taking our power back, and I've been thinking about that as well. And do you feel it's all about intentionality? It's like, well, why am I speaking to this friend? Why am I calling this friend? Or, sometimes question, why are you connecting with someone? Let's say a friendship, what is a friendship for? Well, friendship is important if we, same thing, like grow together and lift each other up. But I think some people have friends that maybe frenemies or tear each other down. I mean, there's no point then in being friends with someone who's not going to want to help be so happy for your success and growth, right?
Definitely. But I
So,
mean,
yeah.
so what was the question?
Well, do you think that we subconsciously give our power away because of our conditioning and the way, yeah, our familial conditioning from how we grew up in our family, like certain dynamics, like relationships, like, you know, you might have a certain type of relationship with a parent and then you reenact that out with other friendships or partners down the track in some way?
Definitely. Definitely. And I think we play out things until we understand patterns and we make changes.
Yeah.
Friendships and relationships
Yeah.
are necessary because everything within us and external to us is a reflection of ourselves in some way, shape, or form or another. And it's very hard
Mm-hmm.
to be introspective of yourself when you're alone. I mean, as much as I think I can do it or feel I can do it, I can only do it to a certain level. It's only for friendships, experiences with other people, and
Mm-hmm.
especially relationships where you can get that massive amount of growth. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and I agree with that because I mean I came out of a very, very big learning, which is probably the reason why I'm at where I'm at, and I'm just done and understand the lessons and the patterns. And I'm not here to repeat stuff. I'm here
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
clean up as much as I can, so that
Mm.
moving forward, I'm not making those decisions again, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
repeating patterns, whether it be from my past
Mm-hmm.
or my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making clean and clear, like precise decisions based on you know,
Mm.
what I know is best for my future and my future family.
Mm. Yeah. And it's interesting because the issue of like boundaries comes up, like energetic boundaries, what are your boundaries with yourself? What are your boundaries with other people? And it's like knowing yourself. You learn that, don't you? You learn, well, hang on, this feels right. This is like what's I guess it's also what's going to help you cultivate your energy and grow your energy and raise your vibration. If something, that's an indicator without overcomplicating it. If something feels like ease and flow and uplifting and positive and inspiring, then that's a good sign. And if you feel like that around another person, well, that's another good sign. But if you feel depleted around someone or after you've spent time with a certain person, you feel drained, well, then potentially that's not a good way to spend your time and your energy.
Mm, yes, agreed. Agreed. Definitely agree with that. But I've also been in this weird space where if I'm put in a situation where I feel like that happens, um, I'm learning, I'm having to learn to see how much of a blessing it is
Mm-hmm.
and how much learning I can get from that.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I watch things that I know are against everything I believe in to really see how it sits with me. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're going to watch everything that you like, the algorithm's going to show you stuff that you like. But
Mm-hmm.
I really like seeing how it's like hearing something from someone else that goes against everything I believe and being okay with that.
Mm.
Stuff like that comes up, and normally I wouldn't want to be in that situation. It doesn't feel nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep myself there until I feel good about it. So I found that
Mm-hmm.
those situations I found are like training grounds.
Yeah. Great.
I've been put in them
Mm.
quite a lot recently where I've had to, not only be accepting of everyone else and their beliefs, which I'm okay with, but
Mm-hmm.
I've had to show I haven't been able to even have space to forgive someone. It's had to be like instant,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is pretty quite big for me. Um,
Yeah.
Having to instantly show compassion and gratitude when
Mm-hmm.
someone is obviously just displaying stuff that's their own issues
Mm.
and being okay with it. So yeah, I can see these positions as you wouldn't ideally run out to go and be in them, but if they do come up, I do
Mm-hmm.
try to sit in a non-judgmental position and kind of like be okay with it. Because I feel that if I
Mm.
can be okay and that's sort of like shit, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a practice of observing And yeah, that non-attachment, detachment, observing. Like I just had a vision. Imagine, someone's at some Christmas dinner and there's like, relatives there that are saying something negative to them or projecting their beliefs onto them about something. And if they can sit there but still feel that peace within themselves, well, then that's it. That's the key. That's the answer, right? Because if our happiness is within us and everything that we need to be happy is inside us, which is a truth, then we don't need to worry about external circumstances because we're master of our own internal space.
Mm, correct. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't be like, if the invite to go to that same party came up again, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm good."
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, being in those situations, they're really good for growth, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Very confronting, and like, especially when you know that it's just something inside yourself that you're not accepting. It's like, what
Mm-hmm.
aren't I accepting in myself?
Mm-hmm.
Why is, everything's for me right now? I know this. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
cool to just sit with that and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and be okay with it. That's
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad you just said that because that's a good reminder. Everything is happening for me, not to me. And that's another way to take our power back and go, okay, I'm not a victim here. This is my lesson. I can learn from this. I can grow and embrace these parts of myself that I've rejected or I've disowned or I've seen as unlovable.
1,000%.
Mm. Yeah, we all have so many different parts. And as we get to know ourselves more and more every day, it's like, well, it's like something else comes up. It's like, wow, this part of me is amazing. This part of me is, oh, okay, what is she so afraid of? And then this other part is like, oh, wow, where did that come from? And it's like, it's great to grow and feel renewed every moment.
Mhm. Yeah, every day, especially, yeah, it's where I've been living at the moment and stuff like that for the last 5 years. Like that conversation you had that, might not make you feel well, but you got to learn there. That's why I feel like where I'm living, I feel like I've been in training. I feel
Mm,
like the environment hasn't been ideal optimally for health, mental, physical, even spiritual, but it's a training ground.
mm,
I've always felt like, I could run off to the forest and grow vegetables and have a family, and that'd be great. But I'm like, what am I going to learn really? So
mm-hmm,
I kind of like putting myself in the thick of it, and have been placed here. But like I said, I think I need a bit of a breather. Melbourne,
mm,
Melbourne has been wild for the last 5 years,
mm,
especially going through everything and being locked down, and so I'm definitely looking forward to sunny weather and
mm.
yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm glad you're feeling great and looking great and vibrant and yeah. So with the elixirs, can people buy them from your website?
Absolutely. With Dry July coming up, I thought it'd be a good time to launch.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be happening. It'll be on elevateelixirs.com.au. We could probably put a link
Mm-hmm.
somewhere on
Yeah,
this
in the
this
show notes.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're amazing. I've been living off them for about a year. And then we refined some of the ingredients to make them potent for everybody. Yeah, one of them is a cacao concentrate base with flower essences. The other one is Blue Lotus for the euphoria, supported with flower essences. And the other one is, well, I'm not gonna say the ingredient, but it's a very potent aphrodisiac, a
Mm-hmm.
very big heart opener, and
Mm-hmm.
they're all awesome for socializing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go out to test them, and I would go to festivals and
Mm-hmm.
to nightclubs. That was the weirdest one because my other job is in the industry as in bartending. So I would just be taking droppers and trying them, and we're like, wow, this is going to be amazing for people. So yeah, they will be out within the next week.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for like coming at the right time to be able to kind of document this experience.
Yeah. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah.
Definitely appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining me. Here are the key takeaways from the conversation with Dennis. See challenges as blessings. There are gifts to be found. Our own healing is not just about us. When we heal and do that work, it crosses generations and heals multi-generationally as well. So we are unlimited beings with sacred alchemy already within us. When we heal, remember to have a strong mindset. This will make all the difference to the outcome of your healing journey. Purify and tap into your inner gold. It is there. Know yourself. This will give you a sense of liberation and a strong sense of direction. See the divinity within everyone and remember kindness above all else. Remember your sacredness, and being healthy is the new high. You heard it here first. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much for being here, and let's spread the good vibes. Thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to me. These conversations are having such a positive ripple effect all around the world. So if you really enjoy them and want to spread those good vibes, please remember to subscribe, comment, like, and share with someone you care about today.